G'day guys, Jono here from J&A Down Under. Today we're going to give you a full review of our truck and show you all the accessories that we've had fitted to it from All Terrain Warriors. We're going to go front to the back, we're going to go through all the accessories that we've had installed, and we're also going to explain the reason why we had that particular accessory installed. Anyway guys, let's get into it. So up the front of the Isuzu we have the All Terrain Warriors bull bar. Attached to the bull bar we have the Nava 215 driving lights that we have. We have the two spots fitted there to the front. Underneath those we have the Sherpa winch, a 17,000 pound Sherpa winch, which is 24 volt, and that runs back from the actual truck batteries. Around the windscreen we have fitted the bar work, the scrub bar work, which protects the cab from all the branches and overhanging leaves when you're going down those narrow tracks. We also have two aerial mounts, one mounted to the left and another one mounted to the right on those bars as well. Up the top of the bar work we have fitted two light bars, which are the Navara light bars fitted there as well, with a wind deflector which they're mounted into. Down the front of the truck, All Terrain Warriors have modified the front step to allow for the super single conversion that's gone in. They've also put on the flare to allow for that extra width of the super single as well, which keeps all the dirt, rocks and that contained within the guard. At the back of the flare they've also mounted an extra little bit of rubber on, which again helps protect the side of the truck, and extended the mud flap down. This was all done as part of the super single conversion. So here we are, down the back of the truck. This is where it all gets interesting. What we've had is we opted to go with the standard All Terrain Warriors tray. Now on the standard All Terrain Warriors tray, it actually has 6 spring mounts attached to allow for the flex within the chassis when you're going over that rough terrain. What extra things we had mounted onto the tray was of course the ladder up the front. Now we've opted to have the ladder put up the front on both the left and right hand side, just to give us a little bit more access up to the roof. Just back further under the tray we've gone for the dual 140 litre diesel tanks as well, which are switched on the dashboard, which we'll have a look when we jump inside the cab. When All Terrain Warriors fitted the tank, they actually used the genuine filters. So there's a secondary filter, so there's a filter for each tank, and used all the genuine parts to keep it in line with Isuzu. Down the back behind the rear wheel arch, we've actually had two toolboxes installed underneath the tray. On the far side we're actually going to have install a barbecue in that, and probably the recovery equipment on this side into the toolbox. But again, very handy space. It makes use of a space that you wouldn't ordinarily have access to. So whether or not you opt to have the canopy fitted to the back, the drop sides on the tray are included with the tray. Now it's an aluminium tray and they come with the stainless steel fixtures and fittings there. Underneath the little drop side we got at the back, we've got the that's our ladder mount. So it's actually the ladder mount off the Bush Company Rooftop Tent, and we're going to put various ones of those around the truck that we can clip our telescopic ladder on to enable us to get access. This particular one enables us to get up onto the back, up the other ladder and into our rooftop tent. So this canopy is manufactured by All Terrain Warriors as well. Now when you get one manufactured through All Terrain Warriors, the maximum height you can go is 1200 and the maximum width is 15. On the back of this one we've got a 1500 and we've got an 800. Inside the canopy, All Terrain Warriors use a uni-strut frame, which makes it very handy for installing any shelving, drawers, etc. or need to fix some fridges down inside the canopy. You just simply get the clips and they can bolt straight into this uni-strut frame. You can also see up the top on the cross members, they've got reinforcement on all the corners, and they've also got a structural member above the doors as well. The doors themselves have a rib down each side and actually have bars in between to allow for the strength in the door. And we've opted to go for a central locking lock located on the doors. passenger side of the truck, we have a 2.2 Fema awning fitted at the top. We opted to go for the Fema awning because you just simply put the handle in and wind it out with ease. You don't have to be mucking around with zippers. Also, because of the height of the truck, I can't actually reach up there to undo a zip. All we've got to do is hook it in and wind it in and out. It's quite simple. All Terrain Warriors made up all the mounting bracketry for us, which sits on top of their canopy setup that they constructed as well. You will notice too that the Fema awning is flush with the canopy. It doesn't protrude past, therefore it's protected when you're off the beaten track. It stops it getting caught up on sticks, branches and all that sort of stuff. So down the back of the truck we've got the rear ladder rack at the back with the handles on it, which come in quite handy when you're pulling yourself up, especially while accessing the back tray for the rooftop tent. We also have the rear wheel carrier, which carries 2 of our spares. Now, part of the package, or a package that you can select from ATW, is the rear wheel carrier, which comes incorporated with the tow bar and the rear winch. Now, with this package, it also comes standard with a brake controller and also your 24 to 12 volt step down converter as well. How good is that? Anyway, let's hand over to the experts and we'll have a look at how this rear wheel carrier works.
Again, is the same as your wheel nut.
Yeah.
So you've just got that one brace or
Yeah.
32 on your rattle gun. So that'll undo that. So that's what, you know, safety nut. So they're up there.
Yeah, good.
How you going?
Locked in. Again, you got isolator.
Yeah.
To isolate the power. Push that in, lock that off, and then you've got the remote over here, which again only goes one way. Yeah, and then we'll just undo that nut. That nut, so just keep it on there.
Keep on there, yeah.
Probably what you do with the touch wheel there, Troy. So yeah, at that point, it's still fully tensioned on that rope.
Yep.
So that rope's coming up and it's going over a pulley.
Yep.
And then it's going through that pin there.
Yep.
So if you want to use this as a rear winch,
Yep.
to winch off, you just got to always make sure that that nut is locked off.
Yep.
And then you're able to loosen the tension on that, pull that pin out, pull that back through here.
Yep, yep.
And
Away
use
you
it
go
as
as a
recovery.
winch. Yep.
Yeah. But generally you'll just have it all hooked up,
just
as an operation for
yeah,
this thing. But
yeah.
So always have that nut locked off
Yeah.
when it's in its up position.
Yeah, just drop that.
Yeah, so it's just, I was going the wrong way then. So yeah, you want to just lower that down. And just little tugs at it.
Yeah.
It's a bit touchy. Make sure you got this thing in the right spot. So basically what it'll do, its stop point here is that point there against that little stainless plate.
Oh yeah, right.
That's where it's gonna where it's gonna stop in its down position.
Yep.
Basically there. So but then you can get, you know, rattle gun.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to.
Yeah. Still probably have your wheat bix before you need to lift them off. It just makes it, you know.
Changing the tyre's not fun at any event, but
No, that's it. Yeah.
It's got to be easier than lifting them up from up high.
No. And then heading up is just basically the opposite. So
Do we have to? Is there a grease nipple or something on that pulley?
no, it's all what is it, like high density plastic?
Yeah.
It just sort of slides
Oh,
around.
okay,
There. It's all pushed.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, mate, that's it. Okay.
No, it's all just spliced back through. So yeah, you can see that there now. Obviously, you can just pull that split pin, pull that out, and then just feed that back through. Going up is basically.
Also fitted in the back, we had these lights mounted. They're the new design lights that ATW is putting in. The bar didn't actually fit them, so they had to remake our bar especially to fit those lights. They did a fantastic job there. Good on you guys. Next to those, we've also got the our rear working lights. They're operated from a switch in the front, and they come on at night. They're quite bright as well. They do the job just magnificently. So for the tow bar down the back, also supplied by All Terrain Warriors, is the shocker hitch. Now we've gone for the shocker hitch, so when we're towing things like the caravan, tool trailers, etc., it takes the shock out of the drawbar and doesn't put any damage onto those drawbars. For those of you that have towed with a truck before, you know that they're likely to suffer from stress fractures when you're towing straight off the back of a truck, so this will reduce it. We went for the shocker hitch because it has the adjustable airbag on the back. Now, depending on the weight of the trailer, all we have to do is simply inflate or deflate the area accordingly to suit the load. So on the driver's side of the truck, we have the 3 metre Fema awning. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than what it is on the other side. Being 3 metres long, it actually comes out that little bit further there as well. Now this enables us to, it covers the two boxes that we have on the back and also over the rear tray, because as I mentioned earlier, we're going to locate the barbecue within that rear box underneath the tray there, so it works really well. Let's take a bit of a look at the mounting system on this one as well. As you can see, All Terrain Warriors have custom made the Fema awning bracket on this for it to be recessed back slightly so the awning's flush with the outside of the canopy. It's also a strong mount too that'll support it through all the winds and what it might cop through the elements here. So just like the other side, on the driver's side of the truck, we also have the under tray toolbox as well as the ladder up the front for the access as well. One thing I will point out is another feature that we have on this truck is the snorkel. So we've actually got a watertight snorkel fitted. So standard one does have little holes and things in it, so it's not 100% watertight. We also needed to put this snorkel in to allow for the ladder to access up the side of the tray. So for the rims, we're running 9.5 inch alloy rims. On the 9.5 inch alloy rims, we're running the Founders tyres. Now I believe these tyres are only relatively new to Australia, and they actually enable us to maintain the full GVM of the truck. So we're still at 7.5 tonne on the truck, and we also can have an aggressive mud tyre on it as well. So I think it's going to be a bit of a game changer for these trucks, so it'll be interesting to see how these tyres actually go. What we've done is we've also had mounted the All Terrain Warriors Parabolic Suspension and the shock absorbers. Now I must say the ride in this truck is absolutely spectacular. It's not like travelling in a truck at all, believe me. Under the front, we've actually opted to go for the airbag to act as a bump stop, so it's not as jarring. We've had Isuzus in the past, and when they hit that bump stop, it's a real jarring feeling going up through your back, and the airbag stops that. Some people may make comment that the airbag does restrict the travel. Look, we've done some tests over the last couple of days, and I put it up on a mount, and I don't think it does. For what we're going to be doing, I think an airbag's perfect. It may reduce it a little bit, but we're still getting a heap of travel out of that wheel. If it saves me back, hey, I'm all for a compromise anyway. But from what I've seen so far to date, the airbag keeps the full travel, and it also stops the jarring when hitting a deep rut or pothole if you're on the blacktop. So down under the back of the truck, we're also running the Parabolic Suspension. At this stage, we're not running the airbags. We're going to wait and see how it goes when we get the canopy loaded and the van on the back. If we feel we need it, it's something we can always add later. Again though, the ride that we're getting out of this suspension is second to none. I'd even go as far as, well, I'd say it actually handles better than the Troop Carrier when on the highway. Underneath the truck, ATW have fitted a 125 litre water tank to underneath, which fits up underneath the chassis rails there nice and neat. We've also got a tap fitting that comes back down to here just behind the rear passenger side wheel. When we do the build, we will be installing a pump which will be hooking up to our hot water service, etc. Down underneath the truck, we've also had the condensator guard kit installed, as well as the radiator protection panel put over the front of the radiator, and that just stops any sticks or rocks from punching through the radiator as it's hung down and fairly exposed there under the truck. Again, we haven't experienced any overheating since it was put on. I'd say the truck has performed beautifully. There are some questions you see there that people ask, does it restrict airflow? Well, possibly, but it doesn't seem to affect the truck, its performance at all. Also fitted up to the back of the cab here, we have breather kits, which give the breathers an extension for the diffs, the fuel tank, our fuel lines, and also the gearbox, the transfer case. All their breathers are extended up high so they're out of harm's way and they won't get clogged down low. To access the rooftop tent, ATW fabricated and installed this ladder for us, which enables us to get from the tray up into the tent. They also fabricated the backbone, the framework for the rooftop tent to sit on. Initially I was going to do it myself, but after talking to Chris, he said, hey, we can do it through the manufacturing process. I said, why not? And I'm glad I did, because they did a fantastic job. Up on the roof of the canopy, we have the Bush Company rooftop tent. We'll go in and do a review on that at another day, but for now, it is super easy to use. You just undo the clips on the side and just simply push it up. As it's going up, grab the elastic, pull it down, job done. It's as simple as that. So up on the roof, we've got the Enerdrive solar panels that are mounted on the onto the rack that ATW fabricated it for us. Now, they installed the two 200 watt solar panels for us, and those solar panels are going to complement the Enerdrive system that we're going to be putting into our canopy later. They've done a fantastic job. It also enables me that if I need to, I can get some large lengths of timber and that and tie them down as well. So not only do they support the solar panels, they'll also help support loads on the roof if required. So inside the cab we have the Stratus suspension seats that we had installed through ATW. To enable us to get the passenger side one in, they had to re-engineer the whole engine cover and everything. They did a really good job on that. As you can see, I'll just put in some footage here of Chris on the handover so you can see exactly what they've done inside the front of this truck.
All your radar control there.
Is that a brake controller?
Yep.
Put a brake controller. How good is that? You put that in?
Yeah.
I bought a brake controller, I didn't need that.
Yeah. eBay. So the way your lights are switched as far as your spotlights go, that button there is your top lights. Yep. That one there is the spotties on the bull bar. Yep. And that one there is your rear work lights. Oh yeah, on the bar. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So do these ones come on with high beams as well, or just on the switch? Yep. Yeah. High beams. Does that come on with reverse as well, or just does on the switch? Just on the switch. Yeah. Okay. So technically, it's not a reverse light. It's more of a work light. Rear work light. That's those three there. From an Isuzu point of view, this is an idler. So if you want to, warm the truck up, or if you want to put a bit more boogie back into the start batteries, or maybe when you're winching, you can wind that up just to get a bit more amperage back into the batteries. Yep. Just your standard Isuzu stuff here, where all this lives. Obviously, we're four-wheel drive. Yep. Old school technology, lock in the hubs. Yep. Then you've got your four-wheel drive button there, so you push that, and then you've got high and low range. Yep. From there. The next one down is cruise control. Yep. So we push that on to make it work. The trick with the cruise control, you need to have the exhaust brake off. Yep. The exhaust brake control is up and down on that left lever. Yep. Again, you'll have a light come on the dash to tell you the exhaust brake's on or off. Yes. And then to set the cruise control, you've got it on the stalk on the right there. Come to a hill, put your foot on the clutch, foot on the brake, you'll feel pressure against the brake pedal.
Yep.
At that point, a light will come on the dash and you can take your foot right off the brake pedal and the truck will hold its position.
Yep.
So it's just like a handbrake start without using the handbrake, basically.
You're getting a bit fancy, aren't you?
So that turns it off.
Yep.
You can adjust it down here as to how much it holds when you take off, but I've never really played around with that.
No.
Mirror control there, so the top mirror on these is electric.
Yep.
And you can turn that on to heat it as well. So if you've got a lot of condensation in that mirror in the morning, you can flick that on, it'll get rid of that. And then you can adjust that to suit, so left or right, and then up, down, or side to side from there. UHF is all fitted in the dash there. We don't like to fit the hook. The hook will be in here or in that box. Probably in the box, but I'll double check. Oh, there it is there.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
That's just a little mount for it. Yeah, people put it there or wherever you want. It's it's just an easy little stick on into that as part of that. So yeah, while we're in there, that's the certification for all your mods that we've done to it as well. The Isuzu hand or manual. Just there'll be adjusters for your spotlights. Just some more bits and pieces, more stuff.
Oh, in the USB in here?
Yeah.
How good is
put
that?
2 USBs in there as part of that center console.
Yeah.
So you can put laptops in here or phones or whatever it is. And then this whole assembly tilts up and out of the way. So you've got this little strap here, which is actually an OEM Isuzu strap. So when you've got the dual seats in here normally from factory, this whole engine hatch tilts up with the OEM seat. When we do the Stratos seat, we remove all of that section. We fit a little quarter panel in. We mount this seat permanently. And then we make a fiberglass hatch to suit. So we pick up. This is the same point on the seat hatch, and we pick that up for the center console. Which then tilts up and out of the way, and all locks off, all using OEM. So from there,
and that's
then got that hatch that you can twist out, and then that just slides out to access the motor.
He's made all that.
You can see the part of all the insulation there as well.
Well, no, they get hot, these things, if you don't.
And it makes a big difference from heat and obviously the sound as well.
How good is that? So he's done up a mould and.
It's all fiberglass moulded, and then it's foam trim vinyl, and then there's another sort of Dynamat product on the bottom of it as well to keep the heat and noise out. Which is like an air lumbar. So it's a little air pad in that back pocket that pumps it out and lets it out accordingly. You've then got a winder on this side and on your side there. So basically what that does, you've got a plus and a minus. So winding that is pulling up the springs. So where you want it to be, you don't want it to be bottoming out. So if that seat's hitting the ground now, it's probably not wound up enough. So you sort of just got to keep winding
until you get that spring just right.
Until you get it right. Spring wheel adjustment. You've got that there that you can pull out, and then you've got up down, and you got
so you just lift that up, put it where you want it. Okay. So what, left tank, right tank, and does that share the same fuel gauge in?
So left tank, right tank, you choose which tank you want to be on, and it'll be drawing from that tank, and it'll be reading from that tank. So both tanks have got their own senders, but one gauge. So when you flick it, it draws and it reads from that tank. So you'll be full, drive. It'll come down the fuel light. You can flick it on the fly, and it'll draw straight away, but the fuel gauge itself will take a little bit to recognise where it needs to be, and so that can take up to 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. If you're pulled over and you flick the switch, turning off the truck and the truck back on will reset it straight away. You'll see it come up. But it's definitely drawing from that tank straight away as soon as you flick that switch.
What are they 140s?
Yeah, two 140s.
So the entire cab is insulated?
Yeah.
And is it the floor as well?
Yeah.
It's everything.
So he fully strips the roof, the floor, all the seats come out, all the door trims come off. It's a full week for him to strip that out and put it all in.
Job.
Yeah. 200 watts.
200, okay.
Two 200 watts. So you'll be able to run a feed straight out of that Anderson, and like a little grommet or bulkhead fitting straight into the canopy and then feed down from there.
Straight into there.
Yeah.
Tyre pressures.
Well, basically, I think that the boys have probably got them set at about 70 in the front, 80 in the rear. But when you get this loaded and we figure out what its sort of final weight's going to be, we can talk about what your ideal on-road pressures are going to be. As far as how low you can drop, sand, you probably will be around the 35 psi. It's not so much what the tyre recommended or the tyre founders would recommend dropping that low, but in sand you kind of need to go that low, and the tyre's strong enough to do it. But it's all relative to speed. That's the thing. Speed and tyre pressure is the key. You can't expect a tyre to be 35 psi and do 100 k's an hour. It's if you're lowering your pressure, you got to lower your speed as well, and that's corrugations, beach, whatever you got to get them to, you've got to drop them to get yourself out of a situation. But we tested these tyres on our truck, and I had them down to 25 psi, and I was trying to get them hot and trying to almost damage the tyre as a testing point of view, and it would just go anywhere.
They didn't heat up much?
No, it didn't. I was so blown away by the temperature. It hardly got hotter than what it was on, at highway pressure and highway temperatures, which was a good thing.
Great.
Dad was friendly with Adventure Tour, Fraser Island Adventure Tours. He's the original owner. He still owns it today. And Dad went, "Oh, look, I can finish this for you. Let's try and find a shed and, finish this thing and get it back on the road." And then they did that one, and he ordered another one to help Dad boost the business, and then it just sort of went from there. We were doing bus modules, and then every module then we were adding a truck accessory to it. I guess, we went wheels, then we went suspension, and then we looked at bull bars, and then tow bars, and fuel tanks, and then seats, anything we could do to make it comfortable. And then from there, buses, we ride in waves, so we did a lot with mining back in 2012-13 as well, where mining just went boom bananas. We had 56 staff and we were pumping out eight buses a month, but on the downside of that, it went down a lot quicker than what it went up. So we diversified back into this and to setting up accessories for trucks and touring, I guess.
So I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown on the process on how we come about to get this truck built. First of all, what we did is we made contact with All Terrain Warriors up there on the Sunshine Coast. Once we contacted them, I basically went over their webpage, and they've got a list of all the different types of trucks and different types of configurations. I selected a truck, emailed them through, and then they come back to me with a few more options. So pretty well they sent back a price list of all the options that I'd require. You then tick the box, they go back through and do a final quote. Once you've got the final quote, they did a CAD drawing up, so they designed all the rear boxes, the way the awning sit, everything was all CAD drawn prior to the manufacturing taking place. Once the approval was given for that, we then laid down the deposit for the truck. They then went through and manufactured it along the way and sent us all a whole heap of pictures and whatnot. Now, because they are, I guess, basically a custom builder, they do have mostly standard things, but they do customise it. Along the way, I did change my mind a few times on a few little items. Nothing ever seemed to be a problem when dealing with them. Their communication was spot on. As you can see, the fabrication and the end result is absolutely spot on. Couldn't fault the process at all the way through. When we got towards the end and we went to pick the truck up on final delivery day, Chris gave us, from All Terrain Warriors, gave us a full walkthrough of the truck and showed us exactly how everything worked and what we needed to do to maintain the truck. So that's probably it in a nutshell for those of you that want to do it. The process was fairly simple. What was probably the hardest for us is when we were getting the truck built, it was through COVID, so we weren't able actually to get up into Queensland as we were in New South Wales to see it being built. But having said that, it only added to the element of excitement when we went to pick it up, because we were actually over the moon with the end result. Anyway guys, until next time, it's John Owen Ans from J&A Down Under. Thank you.